Olá, olá pessoal. Olá, olá. Carrilho, meu. João Paz, Up Oils. Aí está, vou convidar aqui o Ken a entrar. Hello, Ken.
Hey, there we are. Hey,
Hey,
Luis.
yes. Easy.
Yeah, just adjust my volume. Okay.
How are you, my friend?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
I
you are you are in the office.
I
You
am.
are making some products. All right, that's cool. So, Ken, let's start talking just a little bit about you, who you are, where you did start, and your connection with music. So, if you had any family that brought you to the music, or where you did start learning.
Sure. Yeah, I started playing trumpet when I was a little boy, 10 years old, uh, in California, just part of our regular public school band. And I think I joined the band really just to get out of math class or something like that,
Yes.
diversion. And my friends were playing the French horn or the clarinet or something else, and I wanted to play. My brother, who was a little older than me, played the trombone. So I really wanted to play the trombone, but you know, the brother's already playing. It's not a good idea.
No.
So I played. I decided my second choice, the trumpet, and of course it worked out pretty good.
Yes.
I always loved playing the trumpet, and I mean later I went to college and studied. You know, uh, I got my degree in music performance. But later, even after graduate school in music, I changed to electrical engineering and
Right.
became an electrical engineer, which I worked at for 30 years with Hewlett Packard, HP. So I was a product engineer with HP for many years and learned a lot about business, a lot about products, merchandise, marketing, specifications, quality control, all the things you need to put into a product. And I was able to apply a lot of that to my own products. Uh, so yeah,
All
everything
right.
kind of tied
Okay.
together in the end.
Okay. 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 So we will talk about that. Um, did you study with any? Who are your teachers? Did
Yeah,
you have a great? Because I have to tell this. In Portugal, it's still working like this. So there is not a lot of money for books. So it's still in the old way. Or people passes copies and copies of the same book, or people writes stills writing the book. And someone passed to me the other day a folder with books, and there
yeah,
was your book, Ken Saul book, and I was looking at that and I was practicing that, and that has a lot, in my opinion, has a lot of at least two teachers that I would say. One of them is Stump. That's what I felt when I saw your thing. Did you study with Stump or with some of that guys?
so my teacher, my main teacher through high school and college was Joe Alessi. Now, Joe Alessi Sr. Was a trumpet player with the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra for many years, Radio City Music Hall, and other symphonies. His son is Joe Alessi, the trombone player,
Oh
famous
wow.
trombone player with the New York
Yes.
Philharmonic. So Joe Jr. and I grew up together. We played in youth orchestra together, and
Awesome.
I studied with his father. Now, Joe Alessi Sr., the trumpet player, um, studied with Vacchiano. So he came out of that
Okay.
The New York tradition of this great teaching tradition, Schlossberg, of course,
I,
Vacchiano.
I was about to tell you that that was the other
Yeah,
one I felt in your things. Yes. All right.
absolutely. So my teacher studied with Schlossberg, he studied with Vacchiano, studied with Harry Glantz. So the greatest New York trumpet teachers and trumpet players of his day.
All right,
And in
that's
fact, when I hear about what lessons were like with Vacchiano, it's exactly the same as what I was taught. Exactly the same repertoire, same books, same method. It's very interesting. It's not a way that I would teach today. I would go into the lessons and never play anything that had been assigned the previous week. It's all new material, sight reading, sight
all right.
transpo, play new scales. And it's like my teacher never heard anything that I had practiced. Very
Exactly.
rarely. Very strange. So I think
Exactly.
today we would rather teach something to the student, have them go practice, come back next week and hear it and see if they
Yeah.
make good progress, and give them tips for making it even better, more musical, more correct, better styles, whatever.
Yes.
So it was it was just the teaching style of the day, I would say. That was how they
Yes.
taught. They went through a lot of material and almost never looked back.
That should be
Yeah,
hard to be a student of them, to be honest. Oh, Ken, so now I understood something that then you turned an engineer, and it makes a lot of sense on what you are doing today. Um, and that's awesome. This is why these interviews are important, because some people, we just know the Ken that plays on Facebook and sells the others, but we don't know the connection. Um,
yeah.
when did the ultra pure oils come into your life? When did you decide that was the product you wanted? Because you knew about quality, about product, as you said.
Absolutely. So like I said, I do have a background in engineering, even a master's in engineering. But it was when my little son was only 3 years old. So this is now 30 years ago. Um, he was digging around my trumpet case, and I remember the valve oil bottle says harmful or fatal if swallowed. Keep away from children. And I thought, well, yeah, I better get that bottle away from my little boy. He's digging in my trumpet case. And so I started looking around for oils that were not hazardous, safe oils. If you drink it, it'd be okay. And there really wasn't anything good on the market at that time. So I started experimenting with synthetic oils, um, very sophisticated oils. Applied them to my background in design of experiments, testing, etc. And I finally came up with, some pretty good oils that I started passing around to my teachers, my friends who are players, professionals, and get their feedback. And so this process of blending, developing, sending it out, getting feedback, refining more, finally turned into a formula that I thought most people really liked. It was at that time, of course, it was just one product, just ultra pure professional valve oil, uh,
Yes,
where the bottle might look something like this, or in certain areas you'll see it look like this.
that's the most common here in England. Everyone uses that
Yeah,
top blue one. Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. So um, at that time, of course, it was just a very small micro business, just a hobby, and I wasn't really selling the oils. I was just giving it away. Just let people have a good oil. If they wanted to pay me something, okay. But I started selling it in around 1990. First through a little ad in the ITG Journal. Um, Started getting, it was at that time there was no internet. Internet didn't
Yeah,
even exist
exactly.
yet 30 years ago. So it was just, advertising in magazine. The ITG magazine was the only real place you could get the word out. And I think it was around the year 2000, so 10 years of hobby business. Around 2000, Dave Monette started using my oil on his instruments. And so all the Monette trumpets would go out with a bottle of ultra pure. All the repairs that came into his shop and would go out again with a fresh bottle. And so at that point, it started growing from a hobby business to something that people were actually interested in and placing orders. And at that time, it was really just the dawn of the internet. So I started selling, first just on eBay as a place to get, some sales going, and then later developed our own website for direct sales through PayPal or whatever. So of course it grew and grew just sort of organically, more and more people hearing about it. And let's see, it was 2012, I finally retired from HP. I took an early retirement. My business had then grown by 2012. It had grown pretty busy. It was taking up all my time on my nights and weekends. Of course, I couldn't do it during working hours. I have a job at HP. So I had to focus on my own work at nights and weekends. And anyway, an opportunity came up with HP. They were offering early retirements and a nice incentive, and I took it, no question. And ever since, now 9 years, almost 8.5 to 9 years, it's really grown a lot bigger. So I was able to focus on work, my own, business growth. Yeah. Started attending the NAMM show, developing a network of distributors around the world, and a lot of musical instrument makers purchasing my oil either in the ultra pure bottles or in their own custom label. So we do a lot of custom label work as well. Awesome. So now I would say we are truly a global business. We're sold virtually everywhere. You could find a music store anywhere in the globe. All of the oils and products come from this room you're seeing, our little manufacturing room. You can see a drum of oil here, a bottling station that's automated, fills the bottles and caps them. There's some more equipment over here for tightening caps. You can see some inventory up here for different products.
Yes.
It's not a, it doesn't require a lot of space. It's just a very efficient, effective area. It's a nice, clean area. I have a little, heater, so it's warm in winter. It's cool in summer. I've got an air conditioner.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
And a lot of the music industry is companies like mine, little companies that come up with an idea. Maybe it's an accessory, whatever. And the music industry has, thousands of little companies like mine that have grown organically over the years and developed into a real brand and are recognized. So I would encourage people that are watching your podcast today to think about what is it that they could do for the brass world. Maybe a little product, something they could do with a 3D printer, something that they could make. There's still room. I never discourage anybody from trying their hand at a business, even if they wanted to come out with their own line of valve oil and be my competitor. I don't care. I would encourage them. And I've certainly encouraged others, like the guys at Monster Oil, for instance. They're one of my competitors. They're also friends. And I encouraged them when they were getting started. So why not? I can't supply every bottle of valve oil to the entire world. That's way too much. And
yes.
If anything,
there is space for everyone.
Yeah. Everybody goes. It's a consumable item, so you have to keep buying, and you run out. buy another one. So
Yes.
anyway, yeah, of course now, besides just the valve oil, we have quite an extensive product line. We have an oil for almost every purpose. So like the
Yes.
valve oil, this is the Ultra Pure Professional. That's
Ken,
the
can you give me
standard
a
one.
second? Can you
Yeah,
give me a second? I was not sure that Morris was there, but Morris Northcutt is saying that Ken is the best, and I was about to tell you something about Morris in this interview, and it's good that he's here. Morris, when he made a tour to Ireland,
yeah,
he made a post on the time saying, "I can." If you go to check on his Facebook, I'm almost sure you will find it. Something like, I can do weeks and weeks with just. So he put the oil. He came to Ireland. He done all the tour. He went back, and he never had to put oil again on the. So, and that made me start using. We talked about your oils. I was
yeah,
using them already, but that's when well, I love Morris, and he knows that. For me, is my target is to play like him, and
indeed.
that's my thing, and he knows that. So I think was really important what he did, because as it changed my conception to buy more of your oil, it changed much more people as well. Do you think that like people like Morris helped you to build the brand with these kind of little things?
Sure. Uh, our website doesn't really have a page anymore that shows our um, endorsers, endorsements. We used to have a product or an endorsement page.
All
Wynton
right.
Marsalis, Allison Balsam, just the greatest players, Chris Bodie. But after a while, that page got kind of unmanageable, a lot of broken links. And anyway, when we changed to a new website, we decided, okay, we don't need to advertise with endorsers. The product speaks for itself, but we certainly are still growing by word of mouth. And I would say, like in the UK, we are still a fairly new company. Uh,
Yes.
our distributor is John Hornsby SKUs, JHS, and they
Yes.
sell a wide variety of accessories to the retail shops. So we send to JHS and they sell to the music stores. They don't sell directly to consumer.
Yes.
So that way we can kind of send in bulk. But we get orders from JHS, I would say every 2-3 weeks, they're ordering more. So that's really good to see.
Yes.
It shows that our products are getting quite accepted in the UK. And I mean, it always surprised me that, especially in the UK, almost nobody seems to understand valve oil. They're putting you know, washing up liquid, just water. I mean, I've heard the craziest things.
And not
Maybe,
just that. Not just that.
yeah,
I have a friend, a professional guy from the big band where I play. The fourth trumpet uses the sunflower oil for cooking.
uh,
And I tell I
terrible.
tell him I tell him, brother, that has acids and everything. In a long term, it will burn your your mouth. And he said, no, but it's cheaper, all right? That's your
Yeah,
problem, isn't it?
yeah.
But
I've heard that before, using vegetable oils. Of course, vegetable oils. Well, you know what they turn into, like on the cap of the vegetable oil, it's all goopy and you
yes,
know
yes,
sticky. And well, of course, it's going to make your valve stick after a week or two. It's just terrible. It gets rancid. It'll smell bad. It's just not a good idea.
all right. Did you
So
read? Are you reading Morris' comment there? He's saying those little travel size bottles are my new favorite. Love it.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
one here. This is what Morris is talking about.
Yes.
It,
Oh
it's
wow.
it's only about 7 milliliters, but even 7 milliliters might last you 2 months.
Yes.
you know, you
That's
don't use
awesome.
much of this oil. It's
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah, it's a good
So
product.
now let's go to your products, Ken, because that's another thing that a lot of people doesn't understand, and I see people doesn't understand. When you sent me my like endorser pack or
Yeah.
the sponsorship you sent to my channel, that man, I was amazed. I know your grease already because I used it, and I need to talk with you about that because he's a guy in Portugal that wants to start selling and using it
Yeah.
as well. So, but about the oil, you have the thin oil, the professional oil, which is the most common, and then you have the black label.
Yeah.
Can you explain what is the difference of all that oils and when to use it? And the thing I loved the most was you have an oil for the first and third slide,
Yeah.
which is I used to use the normal one, the professional, but
Yeah.
it's different. That is a bit thicker.
The
I could
thicker one.
feel it.
Absolutely.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome.
So yeah, we have the three valve oils. The Ultra Pure Professional is the standard weight, similar to Hetman number 2, if people are familiar with Hetman. The Ultra Light, which has the green cap, is similar to Hetman 1 or Yamaha 1 also. And then the Black Label Classic um, is a little thicker valve oil for older classic instruments where the pistons might be worn out a little. And so if you have like a brand new instrument, like a brand new Yamaha, the pistons are very tight against the casing, almost no tolerance, no clearance. So you need a very thin oil. That's
All
where the
right.
Ultra is best. Brand new Yamaha, brand new Shoki, their valves are super tight. The Monettes like that. Um, Other instruments like say Bach or Jupiter, um, the Ultra Pure Professional is perfect. It's just the right weight to fill that kind of casing. And then if you have that old beater cornet or trumpet that's really loose, the little thicker oil will fill the space between the piston and the casing and actually gives it some compression.
That
So
that's what
the
I wanted
instrument,
to ask. All
yeah,
right.
the instrument will actually play better with a little thicker oil, and it lasts a long time as well.
Does.
And then the tuning slide grease, like you said, Luis, we have this Formula 1-3 tuning slide oil, which is made for the first and third slides, which you want to move, quickly for intonation, quick adjustments. We developed this product in collaboration with Adams Musical Instruments.
All right.
So Adams wanted an oil for their flugelhorn for the trigger, where
Yes.
you pull on a trigger and it pushes the slide down and then it snaps back with a spring. So it had to be just exactly the right weight for them. And I sent them a variety of different weights, thicknesses of oils, and this is the one that they picked. So this became our formula. And Adams, for example, puts one of these bottles in with every new flugelhorn,
Yes.
and I think with some of their other instruments as well. Anything with a trigger or maybe a professional horn, where the player will want to make those fast adjustments. It goes on easy. I would say put like 1 drop each week, and that's all you need.
Yes.
And then we have the more traditional tuning slide greases in a jar. They're all clear. They all look the same. So you have to, look at the label, because if you take the top off, it will all look the same. They're
Yes.
all clear and colorless, but they're different thicknesses: the regular, light, and heavy. The light, again, I would use for like the first and third tuning slides. If
All
you
right.
don't want the slides to just fall out, you want a little bit of friction, so they don't just slip so easily. This is just perfect. The heavy is for slides that are just too loose, and they really need to be repaired, but they tend to be creeping out on their own. And maybe you've
All
seen that
right.
on one of your horns, where the slide is just too loose.
Yes.
And with the heavy, on most cases, it's thick enough to make that slide stay in place. Now, there are still some instruments that have slides that don't even stick with the heavy. They'll
It
continue to
happened.
creep.
It happened to me, for example, in a second slide, the little one,
Mhm.
and it was losing compression on that
Yeah,
horn, and I used your heavy on the time. Actually, the guys from John Packers here in England, they used it, they recommended, and it brought back the compression on my horn as well,
that,
which was good.
that is
Good.
good. Yeah, so yeah, if you can't get the repair done, or you don't want to repair it, maybe this is all you need is a thicker grease. And then another product that we're super proud of is the trombone slide lube that now says Alessi Formula.
Yes.
And this is based on Joe Alessi's endorsement from the New York Philharmonic. He loved this product so much, this formula, that he wanted his name on the bottle. And
Awesome.
it came at just the perfect time for us because we were just ready to order more bottles and we could change the artwork. We buy so many, we buy like 25,000 bottles at a time. So it just came at a good time when we could print new bottles and get his endorsement on. And this is doing really well. That product took many years to develop to the form that it is now. And now it's just fantastic.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
especially trombone players because they really need the slide moving properly.
Right. Right.
Yes. Okay. Ken, in terms of the future, do you have, because I know you are an innovative guy, you are always thinking forward, and I can see that, and thinking about new stuff. And I know sometimes should be hard, and you need to stop and say, no, is enough. Sometimes it happens. So, but which products are the ones that you are thinking to the future? Do you have any?
Well, I'm pretty happy with the products. I've been asked to develop products for like polishing the instruments, maybe a brass polish, lacquer polish. Um, but I think there's already some really excellent products out there. And I don't think I'll expand into that area so much. But focus on the products we have uh, and continue to get more players trying them. And I would say similar to your experience, Luis, once you try it, you don't go back to anything
Yeah.
else. This is like, oh wow, this is great. It's working. It's perfect.
Yes. Yes.
And
And
I
that's
think that even these products, um, the formula is not like fixed, like I will never change. In fact, I changed this formula about 6 months ago. Didn't really tell anybody that I was making a change because it's already a good oil, but I
yes.
made it even better. So it's now really really good. This is the best oil I've ever made. Is what we're shipping today, and getting rave reviews. Just super happy with it. I made the same change to both the ultralight and the professional thicknesses. So if you're using one of those and you buy the newest version, like from our website, you're getting the latest formula.
All right.
And then, of
So,
course, since we did this change about 6 months ago, I think all of our distributors have the latest anyway now.
yes.
Yeah.
So you sent me some cloths as well, and talking about cloths, they were really good. My trumpet is gold plated, and I thought yes,
Yeah.
I think I had cloths from different brands, and even on the gold plating, I could feel scratches.
Mm.
I could see them, and with yours is really good to clean. I don't know if you make them or if you buy them, but doesn't matter. They are yours. But I would like to ask you something. There are a lot of things to polish silver, to polish um, anything, but I've been trying, and this is just an idea, and I don't know why. I've been trying to find something to clean gold because my trumpet is gold, and there is nothing in the market. Why? Do you know the
Well,
reason? Or
yeah. So gold uh, is a noble metal. It does not tarnish. Now, what you might see on gold is that underneath the gold is silver, and eventually the silver will start to tarnish. And for that, all you really need is a little silver polish. So what I would use is like a silver polishing cream that you could buy in the store. Just use it very lightly on the gold. Don't rub too hard. And that will penetrate the gold, which is a very thin layer, and it will actually remove the silver tarnish. I use that, for instance, on my Monet mouthpieces, which are gold plated. But after a while, especially if they're just sitting in a drawer, they start to turn a little dark. The silver polish brings them to pure gold color again.
all
So
right,
for gold, really all you need to do is keep it clean with the microfiber cloth, no
cloth
chemical treatment. And
exactly.
and if it starts to get a little bit, dirty, like from your spit and fingerprints, just soapy water is enough to clean all of that off.
All right, okay. Was it's good to listen this because then I spoke with a lot of friends, and even being a professional I am, a lot of friends told me, yeah, I don't know why there is nothing for the. And so that's it. We need to talk with the guys that know the stuff, and you
Yeah,
are the guy that know the stuff. Um, Tarnish or Morris is that Morris has two back as
Carnex.
well
Yeah,
in gold. Ah man, awesome, beautiful. Um,
yeah.
another question: what is the best way? And this is really important because of what we are living, the COVID. I know some answers for this, but I want you, a credible guy, to talk about this. So you make oils. You know, is really important to give a bath to the instruments because they are synthetic. Of course, they are not harmful as the ones you said we used before. Even the smell was really bad. What is the best way to take all the oil and greases from the instrument to clean it totally? What would you use? Just soap? Any kind of special product that you recommend?
Well, so if you have something like a care kit, you'll get the different
Yes.
brushes that are specialized for trumpet. Um, Probably the most important brush um, is the snake, the flexible brush that can get through
Yes.
all of the tubing. So really, all I use is soapy water. Um,
Okay.
soap and water, just like you're washing your hands or washing dishes with soapy water. Same thing, but you need the special brushes to get in all the different areas to reach around, bends and clean the mouthpiece, clean the valve casings. They all have their specialty brushes. Super important. Rinse it with a lot of clean water and then just let it dry. And that will take care of all of the bacteria or germs that are inside the instrument. Of course, with COVID, uh, we're really having to protect other people, besides protecting ourselves from our own contamination. Um, so I would say, you know, drain your spit into something that's going to be thrown away into the garbage. Be careful about that. If it's paper towels or like those, paper towel things that have plastic on the back, um, those are useful. Newspaper, anything that can be thrown away. Um, I'm I'm not convinced that bell covers, these cloth covers for the bell. You see, sometimes I don't think that they do anything
No.
particularly. I think that they make some people feel better. That it looks like we're blocking all of the germs. They don't understand that we're probably leaking a lot of germs straight from our mouth. A
Exactly.
little leak out the corner of the embouchure. Uh,
Exactly.
Especially younger students, they don't have tight corners. They're spitting everywhere. It's not all going through the bell. But if it makes the school administrators feel better, great. Put the bell covers on and join your band. Uh, so I would say at this time, trying to stay just a little farther apart, more increase in the airflow or play outside if the weather permits. That's really the most important. And of course, we're all waiting for the time when we can get our vaccinations and then be able to join the bands again and orchestras and play for people without having to hide somewhere, or like I saw with your picture, playing outside for people for a private party.
Yes.
We would love to be in their living room again instead of out on the porch or the patio.
Tell me about that. Was -3 today, and I was playing outside.
Yeah, it's too cold in winter.
If you listen, the first song is on my Facebook, but don't tell anyone. Go there. It was so freezing. It never happened to me. I started playing Summertime, and I was almost a tone down.
Yeah.
I had to, and I said, what is wrong? I had to pull all the slide about this in and saying, all right, this is good. So the difference from playing at home a month now, because we are in lockdown, outside was huge. Now I want to ask you, Ken, nothing to do with your product, but with something that I saw and I loved. Was a surprise for me because I didn't know you as a player that well. I heard a lot of people talking about you in the community, which was good. But I saw the flyer that you were playing a concert the other day online on Facebook. You were posting with a few pieces, and man, how did you? And this makes me really impressed. How did you keep that playing if you were 30 years working for a company as an engineer, not as a player? It's so hard to keep the level, even when we play every day. How did you do that?
Well, I never stopped playing the trumpet. I always played with the local symphony, our university symphony. I've been principal trumpet with the Oregon State University Symphony for 25 years, something like that. So I always, continued playing. I was teaching trumpet at the university part-time, besides doing my engineering work.
All right.
And, and I think you even mentioned there's some books floating around with my instructional material. Most of those I put together for teaching students of high school age or college students, just to give them, something they didn't have to pay any money for. They could just have it for free. And it had enough material to get them through the basics, fundamentals. Now, to prepare for a recital is a very different experience, and I had to practice a lot more than just maintenance. My normal routine would be maybe practice an hour a day. Maybe that's mostly fundamentals, maybe an etude or two, and then pack it up. But for a recital, there's so much to play. And as you know, endurance is a real challenge on the trumpet. We're playing with such, small muscles there. Yeah, there's nothing there. So I also deeply admire Morris Northcutt, who you mentioned earlier, and his ability to put on these beautiful recitals, perfect, lovely performances. And he talked in one of his webcasts about practicing 4 hours a day. Now, if you think about it, that's a lot of hours for a working person, a dad, a husband. Where do you get 4 hours a day? Well, very sadly, I must say that now I live alone. My wife passed away about 9 months ago.
I'm so sorry.
So now there's nobody to bother. I would say that maybe there's a silver lining. I no longer have to play with a practice mute all the time. But certainly that was my normal routine, was always play with a practice mute, keep the family happy. It's not the best situation, but it's necessary if you live in an apartment or with a family. Now that I'm on my own, I can play open horn, and I was practicing about 3 hours a day or more to prepare for the recital, which was about 45 minutes of music, and pretty challenging music, pretty lengthy pieces like the Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun by Debussy. That's a piece that we normally associate with the flute. And I don't believe anybody has ever attempted that piece on the trumpet. I couldn't find any, YouTube performances or any publications with that kind of arrangement. So I made the arrangement myself and really worked hard on stamina and just playing. I finally switched to the E flat trumpet for that piece. It was a little bit easier. I could play it on B flat or E flat, but the E flat trumpet just, it's a little lighter and just slightly easier to get through a 10-minute piece without doing, completely wasted at the end.
Yes.
I had a lot more pieces to play after that, so I couldn't afford to get completely burned out on one piece.
Can people still watching that recital somewhere?
Absolutely. Yeah, all of the pieces from that recital are on my YouTube channel. If you search YouTube for Ken Saul, you'll quickly find my page.
I will share it.
I put in each of the pieces separately in different videos. In fact, I think the Afternoon of a Faun, the video that I posted was actually from the dress rehearsal. That performance came out, or that practice really came out a little bit better than the performance. This is the nature of our instrument. You can't trust it 100%.
No.
You can't trust yourself, and you can't, trust the instrument. It's the nature of the beast that something will happen that never happened before. It's like, why did I split that note?
Exactly.
Why couldn't I play that correctly?
You get me excited.
And, but we're humans. It's, if it was a recording session, of course you do another take.
Yes.
You do 10 takes. I don't know how many, real professionals would do. And you would get it flawless, perfect performance. But that's not necessarily how it's going to come out in recital. And the additional pressure of a recital on a live stream, that was a very interesting experience. I mean, I'm used to doing these kind of recitals in front of a live audience, and you get the audience feedback. You feel the energy in the room.
Yes.
You feel their love. And of course that, can make you more confident, more expressive, maybe try something you hadn't tried before. With the live stream, it's just you and your iPad or camera, and it's a very different experience.
Yes.
And maybe not quite as fun. It was a little disturbing.
A lot of people doesn't understand that is missing the human side of the thing, as you are saying. Sometimes I make a lot of online concerts. That's what I'm doing, for example, and I won the prize. But I'm there. I have 13 cameras around me, and I'm on my own inside a black room. And people say, but that's nice. It sounds good. All right, but it doesn't feel nice for me, and will never. And I can imagine doing classical like you.
Yes.
It's not easy.
Yeah. I'd much rather hear you in a live performance in a pub or in a club somewhere. That would be more fun. But I do appreciate what you're doing. Playing, simple songs with a backing track. It sounds great. And it's also inspiring in its own way. It's like, that just sounds good. He's doing a nice job. It's music completely on your own and able to make a full sound with the backing tracks. So that's good, and I appreciate that. In fact, the pianist that I played the recital with just a few weeks ago, she said that is the first time she's played piano accompanying live in almost a year. She's been playing a lot of these accompaniments through Zoom sessions, or she might receive, she might do an accompaniment part on the piano and send it to a vocalist, and then they'll add their voice on top of that as their own video and then blend it. And it's not even really a live performance. It's just, you're just piecing it together through two people in their own rooms. Now, you and I, and I'm sure the audience has seen some incredible multi-track videos over the last year that are just astonishing. And maybe that will bring in a whole new genre for instrumentalists that, could collaborate across the world and put together some incredible works, at the highest level imaginable. Just beautiful work. And I've enjoyed many of the online concerts and performances that have been taken with all of that, multi-tracking and editing put together later. But it's not easy, and it takes a very good skill and software and knowledge, to put that kind of editing together and make it something that's interesting. So
exactly, and we'll never be the same. Never.
Yeah.
Anyway, for us musicians, at least. Ken, to finish this interview, and you said something there that broke my heart, and sorry about your wife. I didn't know. And it's been a rough year for most of us, and I lost people as well for different reasons, cancer too, and not easy. I just want you to know that you have friends here, and anything you need, you have. So you don't need to be alone playing your trumpet. You can call anytime, and we will talk and laugh a bit. I like you a lot. And what you done for me, the way we connected the first time, and you sent me products, and you didn't even ask me anything. You just said, "Oh, I will send it to you." And I don't know, the way, the humble way you did it shows the human you are, and that's much more important than anything else at the moment. And you have a friend here, and I love you so much. I want to ask you, the last question in these interviews is always the same for anyone. So, hey, João Coca, one of the best trumpeters in Portugal, is there, sending a big hug to you. Is our Portuguese Arturo Sandoval, we call him. All right. Let me ask you, this last question is, what is your message to the young generation of players, to the young people? Even if they want to build a product, as you said, if they want to do something like you, innovative, or if they want to be just good guys in the market. Not, what I mean is playing well, and I always say this, playing well is not enough. Being a great player is not enough. I know guys that are not great players, or like me, that I'm not as great as some guys, and I work much more than some guys that play more, because we need to be humans. We need to know how to be. What is your message, especially now that you have been through that sad moments?
Sure. Well, I would say, if you love to play the trumpet, never stop playing. Music is a journey. It's kind of a rough journey at first. It's hard to play as a beginner. Even as a high school student, there's many challenges. Maybe you can't reach the high notes, or your tone isn't pure. Those are all things to work on, and study with a good teacher, and really focus on becoming a beautiful player in whatever style you love to play. And the trumpet is so versatile. You can play, jazz, or classical, mariachi, commercial, or all of them. Big band, traditional jazz, Dixieland. Learn so much and listen to so many wonderful players out there. There's no excuse today for young players to not just listen to 1,000 different trumpet players and all of their styles. It's all out there, either through Spotify or YouTube. The most incredible performances of the last 100 years are all available at no cost at all. I mean, in a way, I was super lucky maybe to grow up in the era of the LP vinyl records, because the records were large enough that they came with, you know, the liner notes on the
Yes.
back of them. And you learned a lot just reading those notes. You learned the names of the players in the big bands, the side players, the jazz, you know, combos, the Blue Note records. All those were coming out at my era. And I was also super fortunate to hear some of these great players live. I heard Maynard Ferguson, you know, several times, Doc Severinsen live, Maurice Andre in live performances, one which was at Carnegie Hall, with incredible performance at Carnegie Hall, playing the Humble Trumpet Concerto. Go out and hear these great players of our generation, of your generation, whether it's an online, you know, concert or a live concert that you can get to. Listen to them. If you're a young player and ambitious, go meet them. You know, there's nothing stopping you from the stage door and saying, you know, I'd really like to meet that guy who, you know, I was so impressed, or that woman who was playing, and, you know, they were just so inspiring to me. Maybe get their autograph. Why not have a conversation? Yes. And you will learn a lot from them. Even just the spark of inspiration from a moment like that, when the young person can see, I would like to do that. I would like to be like them. That's all it takes. Sometimes that's all that matters, is, say, that one spark, and that will then ignite a lifetime of learning and of dedication.
Exactly. Ken, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. I will post this on YouTube and Facebook straight after, a bit editing here, and I will repost it and tag you there so people can rewatch this and learn a bit more about the human behind the great oils and great releases.
Thank you, Luis. This was a great opportunity.
No, man, thank you so much, man. Thank you. I'm a huge fan now, even more. Even more. Thank you so much.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Ciao.
Bye.